Hey guys, so today we're still going to be talking about relating decimals to fractions. So we're still going to be looking at tenths and hundredths places with fractions, and we're still going to be looking at turning those into decimals. So you will have access to this, which you can follow along with. You will also have access to the Pages document that I'm writing on while we're doing this. Okay, so we're going to look at this first problem. Okay, so it says a soccer camp has places for 100 students. So far, 60 of the places are filled. Write both a fraction and a decimal in both hundredths and tenths to show the part of the 100 places for students that are filled. So we know there are 100 students. 100 students, 60 places are filled. Okay, so I know that I have 60 hundredths. 60 out of 100 are filled. So we want to write both a fraction and a decimal. So here's our fraction. So we did that already. So there's our fraction. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple different options on how to do the decimal. Okay, we talked about a few different ways yesterday. So let's do some base 10 blocks first. Our base 10 blocks, it has 100. So that's 100 pieces. We only need 60 of them to be filled in. So that would be 6 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to color in all of that. Okay, so that ends up being 60 out of 100. Okay, 60 hundredths. So the other way we're going to do it is we're going to look at a place value chart. So if you remember, we looked at one of these yesterday. So this was our ones place. This was our decimal. We had tenths and we had hundredths. Okay, so if we look at this 60 over 100, we don't have a whole number. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 there, or you could leave it blank. Okay, so tenths place is a 6. Hundredths place is a 0. Okay, so 0.60 is the same as 60 over 100. Okay, that means the exact same thing. So you read it the same way. 60 hundredths, which is here, is the same thing as 60 hundredths here. Okay, so same thing. You're getting the exact same thing there. Right. So that gives you an example. So now we're going to go down. We're going to skip this next page. You can look at it if you want to, but it talks about the exact same thing that I just talked about. Okay, so you can look at it if you want to, but you don't have to. And we're also going to skip the next page. Okay, we're going to skip that page too until you get down to number 4. All right, we're looking at number 4 right here. Okay, all right, we skipped all the rest of it. We're looking at number 4 only, okay, on this page. So it says, write a number on each line below to describe how decimals relate to fractions with denominators of 10 and 100. So it says, if the denominator of a fraction is 10, so you have 10. So let's say you had 1/10, okay? The equivalent decimal has blank place after the decimal point. It only has one place after the decimal point. Okay, tenths place only has one place after the decimal point. If the denominator of a fraction is 100, so let's say you have 1 over 100. The equivalent decimal has blank places after the decimal point. That would be 2 places. So remember, if I draw another place value chart here, so there's my decimal, okay? So this is the ones place. Remember, this is the tenths place, and this is the hundredths place. See, 1 place for tens, 2 places for hundredths, okay? All right, so let's go and look at where it says apply it. So that's where we're going to start. Okay, so we're going to use what we just learned to change some fractions into decimals. Okay, so write a decimal equivalent to 2/10. Draw a model that shows the fraction and the decimal. Show your work. Okay, so we're going to draw a model. So we're going to do a base 10 block for our model. All right, so there's that. So this will end up being 2/10. So I know that I need to shade in 2 of these. Okay, so 2/10. Now, I also need to do my decimal. So here's my place value chart again. Okay, I don't have a whole number, so I can do a 0. Point, tenths place, whatever is above that is what you write. 2/10. So 0.2 is my decimal. Okay, so if 2/10 is my fraction, 0.2 is my decimal. So let's keep going. Let's go down to the next one. So now write a decimal equivalent to 83/100. Show your work. So it doesn't say we have to draw a model, so I'm not going to draw a model. So if I have 83/100, okay, so I know I do not have a whole number, and there's my decimal. So I have 0.83. Remember, this is your tenths place. This is your hundredths place. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Hundredths place. Okay, so 83/100, all you have to do is take your numerator and put a decimal in front of it to get your decimal. Okay, all right, let's keep going. This one is a mixed number, 7 9/10. So I have 7 9/10. So I know my whole number goes in front of the decimal. So there's my whole number in my decimal. Then I take my numerator, since it's tenths place, it goes right after the decimal. Okay, so 7 9/10 can be written here as a fraction, or 7 9/10 can be written here as a decimal. All right, that was our last example. So let me show you your homework. This is what your homework is going to look like. Okay, so it gives you an example at the top that you can look at. It gives you the base 10 blocks, and it also gives you a picture of the place value chart. There's one of these place value charts in your dry erase packet. So if you need to pull it out and use that, feel free to use that. So you have 3 problems here where you're changing from a fraction to a decimal, okay? And it tells you to write these in the place value chart, okay? Now, next page, you're still doing fraction to a decimal, okay? And this one has a circle where you can put it around your answer. This one, you're using your model, okay? And then you're changing it into a decimal. This one, you're using your model and changing it to a decimal. And then this one's just an explanation. Don't forget that last slide is where your work goes, okay? So any work you do on paper, you need to take a picture of it and put it here. If you have any questions, just let me know. Email me, shoot me a dojo message, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day.